You're awful soft.
Well, I'm sure Noelle will share hers. I can
Well,
always
yeah,
move.
All right.
I'm sure Noelle will share
I have a
hers.
hard time hearing you when I'm sitting.
No.
Hello.
You want to scoot over here? Do you mind?
So it's been a while since we've been here, but we're both representing Irondequoit, color Irondequoit green.
You just state your name for the record.
Andrea Porter,
Nora Walter.
and we've come to just talk about two things quickly with you. The first one is, last year you participated in our Irondequoit Eco Fair. I think Jack prepared wren houses, and I'm not asking you to do that again necessarily. But we're having another Eco Fair June 26th this year, and we do hope that maybe you'll join us again. And I know you'll come up with your own idea, and here's just a poster of what's going. I didn't feel like printing 10 in color posters, but you may have it. I know as we've been doing some of our different things, we're preparing, we talked about mayors for monarchs, we talked about a pollinator pathway, we've had presentations, and a lot of questions come up about the guidelines as far as what people can do in their yards. So we thought that might even be something if you were willing to come and didn't have another topic. But we would love to have you come. Sometimes if we don't think people understand all the good that different committees and groups and boards of Irondequoit do. And so it's a chance to let them know the good of the Conservation Board. And if you're interested, I have it online, and there's a link, so it can be filled out, the form can be filled out right there. If you wanted the same place that you had last time, no matter what your choice was, you could. And does anyone have any questions about it?
We had,
It's going to be right here at the, it's on, we do it on a farmer's market day.
Okay.
And last year we did it all along the sidewalk, kind of where that big fruit vegetable place is, all the way around to the front of the town hall. And we had, I think, like 25 different tables, all different kinds of things. We had a bingo board, and so if they went to them, they got credit, and just trying to make sure everyone gets, table wasn't ignored. So we have another idea for this year that'll probably be interactive, and we try to have things for children to participate in as well. And usually at the library does their story hour outside around the theme of something related.
We had previously talked about doing the birdhouses, and maybe that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
sure.
Are you up to that? You prepared it all.
I think I got 25.
Okay.
That's good.
Or I certainly can get them by June.
26th?
Yeah. So why don't you figure Conservation Board will bring some birdhouses?
Okay. Thank you.
The other thing we're here to talk about is the Irondequoit Pollinator Pathway. What I'm going to pass around to you is the submission form so that you can see what people have to do to join it. And it will actually look like this. It'll have a different top than you see there. So we can pass this around too. It's basically pretty easy. People just have to they have to have at least 10 native plants in their whole gardens, and that can include trees, bushes. We would like it if they had a few in each season, but it's a pretty easy thing to do. And the more pollinator-friendly yards we have, the better our native bees and butterflies will do, and that's the whole thing. Now, all of the other Color Your Community Greens, or a lot of the other Color Your Community Greens are also doing this, and they've come up, Pittsford and Penfield have come up with a sign that we think everyone should use. Ours would say Irondequoit Pollinator Pathway, but it would be round like this with the monarch and the flower, and then if you, it's hard to see maybe from that far away, but there's a tree in each one. Do we have a specific Arundecoit tree that we want to highlight?
You know, our forester is not here tonight.
Yeah.
And I had just written Scott too for regarding something else. And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to bother him and send another.
Pass that one around.
You know, it's not directly related, but I've been reading things lately about the monarch butterfly being endangered, and
Yeah.
one of the reasons they said is that for the lack of milkweed,
Yes.
because it's been, so I actually called up a couple garden stores to see if they sell milkweed, and, oh boy, the one on Buffalo Road, the Garden Factory,
Right.
they said after June 1st or so, they'll have milkweed available. And I talked to, oh boy, there's a little one,
In Penfield,
yeah, and,
Lori, yeah.
no, that wasn't what I was thinking
I
of.
wouldn't be
It's-
surprised, but
it-
she would have
it's
it
a small
though, Marcolo.
Yeah, well, it's a small place that, that has a farmer's market, and I know there's kids that work and they actually grow stuff, and I'll think of it as soon as I leave.
And part of it too is we want to make sure that they haven't used, wherever we're purchasing it from, hasn't used pesticides or any of
Right.
that.
Yes, they definitely do.
We have resources for that. We originally thought this was the second thing. We had started all the paperwork in the town to do what's called Mayors for Monarchs, because it was an easier one to get started with. And the paperwork didn't get finished before there was all kinds of town board things.
Okay.
But at the last farm market, two of us did a table, we still did the monarchs for it. And people were asking, are there public places? Way back, Kimmy was planting some on the medians of Culver Road, which isn't really safe. But we were trying to think, are there a couple places in the town that we could do those? And someone had mentioned, it might have even
There's
been you.
this little pocket park that's on Culver Road, just south of Seabreeze. I don't know the name of it if you're familiar with the area. It's just a
Yeah.
little, tiny little park.
I think
And on
that's
the
the one Scott
corner-
was talking about, right? That he wanted us to
On-
get
there's
involved.
milkweed. Yes, I think so. And there's
Yes.
milkweed that grows there. But then the people who come through and do, you know, the trimming of bushes and things, they always cut it down before it's really gone far enough. So if we can convince them to leave it alone, that
Well,
would be very
apparently
helpful.
that's owned by the church.
Oh,
That's
is
on
it?
the corner
Okay.
there, and
So there are
Scott was
people-
actually talking to the people at the church, just because they were talking about selling that piece of property. And there was some discussion at a couple of our meetings about trying to convince the town to see if we could buy the property, but I'm not sure where that stands with anything.
Because another place too, I don't remember who had mentioned it, in the Wegmans parking lot, all, you know, along that back fence, you know, what's there? Nothing, but so it could be another area, and who do we contact and do it? And we can talk to Scott about that, because actually Kimberly, who's with Josh, is the one that initiated, Josh and she initiated the berms that we're planting at the Arundecoit Cemetery. And Josh, and Scott just ordered 3 more flats of natives to go there, and we put all the herbs up front.
So it only Scott would be for town property,
Okay. But
town owned.
so we can see if he has suggestions for it for us to pursue.
What about like Seabreeze Drive?
Traffic.
Too much
We want it
traffic?
to be safe, because it's,
The roundabouts?
because you have, like, coming to our table, we're families with young kids. So you want it to be safe places where they said, we see, you know, we see some at people's houses right at the edge and we want to look, but we don't know if it's okay. And they asked us if we knew of any public places to look.
Parks, any park that has like a little bit of space where people don't generally walk on it or anything, like right on the edge, especially if there's a wall or a fence, that's a good place to put it.
So there is a butterfly garden the Conservation Board planted it over at McAvoy.
Right, and we've cleaned it out a couple times.
Okay.
I don't know if you want it filled with just milkweed, but we could look at it, because it doesn't get tended very, you know, so that might be an idea, if it were okay, and who do we ask?
And any of the parks would be DPW, Scott,
Okay.
Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a dumb question, I'm sure, but I assume milkweed needs lots of sun.
It does like sun.
It
yes.
does.
It grows a lot. I live down off Hoffman, down toward Kings Highway,
Sure.
and it grows a lot down there. But we don't, it doesn't seem to like get to the point where it, bursts out like,
Then you're lucky.
huh?
Then you're lucky.
Well, isn't that better for the
I mean,
monarchs?
that spreads it. No, the monarchs lay their eggs, they want to lay it on tender, newer leaves.
Oh, okay.
Because they're leaving the egg to turn into a caterpillar and feed for,
Yeah, oh, so
a
we'll
couple
have
weeks.
lots of that, yeah.
Right, right. So
But
it's,
when the seeds go everywhere, then you might end up having a lot of it where you don't want it.
I've seen, I'm a fisherman, I go way out in the lake, 10, 12 miles. And some years we see, like, we're out there, we'll see 15, 20 monarchs come through.
Is that right?
And they fly right over the lake. I mean,
and is it beautiful?
It's 110 miles the length of that lake, but
Yeah.
no problem.
And you can't imagine how, because they're not real fast.
Yeah, they go all the way to
don't go
Mexico,
straight
right?
either.
I have a question about the pollinator pathways. So,
Alex is your mic on.
is it not?
It's gotta
It's a
be
green button.
light. There's a button.
Oh, no, it wasn't on.
Thank you.
So, like, habitat fragmentation is a problem, I know, for like larger wildlife. I don't know how big of a problem it is for pollinators, but could we, like, facilitate some kind of competition across the town for like the most properties that are like pollinator pathways that are connected to each other to have like the largest area of pollinator pathways, or maybe like between all the other towns that have?
Well, and maybe
pathways?
later with other towns, because we're just starting. But we were thinking of, but we don't know how well used they are, the different neighborhood groups. Is it something to get the different neighborhoods active in something like that? And promote it and keep track of it or do something? Because someone had access and said we can get it on a map too. On the different, we don't want people's specific addresses
Yeah.
necessarily, but to know that it's in, the Winona Woods, the Rogers, the different neighborhoods might spark the neighborhoods into doing things together. And as we get going with residents, I live and I have two medians on the two streets on both sides of me. Might be the corners of those medians become something too. So there are ways to grow it, but just trying to start it. And we'll want more public. The library right now, we're putting a native path, and we're working with a few other people to work on the circles that are at the entrance, to put more natives in there. That'll be food for the monarchs. We don't necessarily want to fill it with milkweed. But there are different kinds of milkweed that are as assertive as just the real common stuff. And you have a form, but there's a whole sheet that kind of explains everything more thoroughly and why we want natives and we don't want hybrids and what are water, sources, so that goes with it. And we've worked with some master gardeners to help put this together.
And the gardening group, I don't remember what the group is called. They're going to have a neighborhood open garden walk. I think that's in July 24th or 25th, sometime.
Of the Irondequoit.
Yeah, the
Garden.
Irondequoit Garden. And my garden's going to be in it, and hopefully we'll get some more people who have gardens with a lot of pollinating plants, or plants that are good for pollinators in it. And then we can also talk about this as people come and look at the gardens, that you can still have your beautiful, all the gorgeous flowers, but throw in some of these too that are equally beautiful.
And I know Jessa Fisher, who does the Helmer Nature Center, the Nature Center is going to be in it, and her house is going to be in it, down at that end, so I think we'll get more.
Is there someone who's coordinating communication between the neighborhood groups? We used to have Deb Murator as a member on the board here, and she was good at contacting and coordinating things with neighborhood groups, but that seems to have gone away. I think it's unfortunate because, with more communication, you get more cooperation.
Well,
and-
you do, and you feel more community on top of it, and that's the biggest thing, is to feel the community, doing
Yeah,
this and
if-
doing other things. And
That would be a good endeavor for someone if they can.
we can talk to who's running, and I can talk to who heads up my area.
I believe they're having a neighborhood
Meeting right
Meeting.
now?
over at the library.
Okay.
What, for all the neighborhoods?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they are?
Round table.
Oh, so someone must be coordinating that, or
They still meet, yeah.
they meet as a group?
The neighborhood round table meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, and let me just say this too, originally for the pollinator pathway, we wanted it to be a partnership between the town and us. And that's how we set it up. And then again, as things fell apart, we didn't want to stop our progress. But if through you, or if you want to be the avenue that it can be a combination of us, that would be wonderful. I feel like it's a stronger, a better served, we communicate more about it through you and through us.
We would love to be able to have a link from our site to the town site and vice versa.
Regarding this.
Yeah.
And I know we just, 2 Wednesdays ago, we did one on including natives, and we had over 30 people that showed up for it. So that was a good number to show up at the library.
Great,
Okay?
thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks.
That's something you could put on our Facebook page.
I was actually.
Does anyone want this?
Could I actually?
Absolutely, I can give you.
Noel runs our Facebook page, so if you want to get something put out.
Okay.
Do you mind if I like put this up there?
Oh, not at all, not at all.
Wonderful, thank you.
And then,
And
and
if
then
we
maybe,
don't-
maybe this along with it?
Well, let me, if I have your email, Noel, I can forward you a totally full one. Only
So
take
is
the part.
this established through the town of Arundecoit, Andrea?
This is, yes, I'm working with the Eco Fair, I'm working with the farmer's market.
The Eco Fair?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The pollinator pathway, at this point, is just us unless somehow we can connect with the town.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the other towns are doing it together.
So that's what the farmer's market,
I didn't get to see.
that,
This is the farmer's
Eco
market.
Fair.
The Eco Fair, yes.
okay. Okay, because I see you have the town logo on there. They gave that to you?
I've been working all along with Tori.
Okay, okay.
And everything, all the feedback I get from, we have a whole team reaching out,
Because there's certain,
and the feedback goes to her and to me. So I
Okay.
can keep track and she can keep track as well.
I gotcha, okay.
One thing about the birdhouse, you have to locate that away from the bandstand. So we may not, you said you were lined up along the,
Well, last year you did it on the other side, kind of in the back, closer to the Pioneer House.
yeah, and that's where they sent us.
That's where they usually send
That's where
them.
that's where, when I was here, that's where you suggested you do it because you thought it was loud and, if everybody's walking and learning about other
Yeah.
things, it could be.
So that's, we've been pretty much told to set up away from there. From that,
Although
we should be there.
We miss seeing you though, just know that. Didn't miss hearing you. We
It's
miss
the banging.
Give us your sign and we'll put it there.
Okay,
What if it was
perfect.
like, to make it quieter, the birdhouses were already built, but they got to like decorate them or something?
We've always given the pieces, and the main idea originally was for little kids to make them. And we gave them a kit. They're very easy to make. We had a 3-year-old that successfully made one. And
And there's-
we did have some that we gave away on the indoor market one year. But normally they're kits.
What's more fun than pounding?
All these kids, they're a ball, it's a ball doing it.
Been doing that for a long time. Remember, my kids were young, and we went over to Camp Eastman.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a long time ago.
So regarding the pollinator pathway, should we just start it on our own and then maybe the town will join us?
I would have to double check on that.
Okay,
And I did
Thank
put
you
in
so much.
here that I suggested you speak with Aaron and Scott in regards to that,
okay, I will do that for sure.
okay?
Yes, thank
So,
you for,
because they would have the parks and stuff like that. I don't know if like a license agreement needs to be completed or anything through legal, if you know what I mean.
right,
For, usually, for town properties. So usually there's like a licensing agreement or MUA, mutual something agreement that sometimes has to be done. And I'm not quite sure of that, so that's why I'd rather have you talk to Scott and Aaron, just to be on the safe side.
that sounds great.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we'll do
Yeah.
it. We actually invited Scott to come and present for us in
Perfect,
a meeting, so that could be something we talk about.
perfect. Okay.
Thank you all so much for your time.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I did send a link to the conservation's email address to the Color Arundecoit Green website, which has the Eco Fair
And did we get that yet? Do you know?
I just sent it in an email while you guys were originally,
I know.
while you guys were presenting it, I was over here on my phone just quickly.
Oh, just now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, did I miss something? You're scaring me.
Just this minute.
Oh, okay, okay.
Our man had to just decide, he just got a grant for $500 to upgrade our website.
Joshua,
Yes,
there it is.
yes,
Okay, good thing you said something. It was in the junk.
yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, 'cause I also help run the Healthy Yards Monroe County website.
Oh, okay. And you said you sent it to Aaron McGee too? Or
I
no?
think Aaron on a color run by green.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I sent it,
Aaron and
message,
Matthew are, yes.
yeah, to Aaron Keenan and Matthew Isles
Right,
for
Oh,
updating the website so that it has the
gotcha,
2025
gotcha.
on there.
right.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna forward this to Aaron and our Aaron and Scott and see if they can get together and sit and talk about it.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You can let us know if there's anything else we should do.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you guys. I wanted to save the pay for the trees.
Okay, was there any other public input? Anybody? No. Okay, I guess the next thing is approval of the minutes for the meeting that I wasn't here for, so I guess we need
Okay, Slacker.
a motion to approve.
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How many are we? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I have to abstain because I wasn't here.
Oh, okay, so 6 eyes.
I wasn't here either.
Uh-oh.
So 5 eyes.
The ayes have it anyway.
Okay.
I need to bring some reading glasses.
Correspondence. I think Scott had sent me something about applying for the Memorial Day Parade. So I
So,
filled it out and forwarded it to him or you or somebody.
and I believe he said he sent it to Carol Payment,
Okay.
but let me, I apologize, I hate missing.
Yeah, you know what? He did send something in the notes that he sent along to us. Let's see. Yeah, I thought he did. I guess not.
Hang on. Scott. Yep, he did. He did. He copied you and I.
Okay.
So
I
once I
guess-
hear back from Carol, Carol usually sends me the map where everybody lines up.
Okay.
Usually is at Arundecoit High School, I think.
Yes.
Excuse me.
So anybody who wants to march in the parade on, what is it, May 25th, Sunday?
Now you're quizzing me.
You have our
I'm pretty
banner.
sure that's what it is.
Yes.
He's got a number of participants, 10. But I don't think that that's everybody, right? Is everybody going?
Oh, here it is, May 25th at 2 PM.
Sunday, May 25th.
Yeah,
Who all can do it?
I'm planning on doing it.
sure. Why
We have
not?
like a banner.
We do.
You have it? Or is it in the shed?
I think it's in the shed, which
Yeah,
I
we
could
carry
probably.
a really nice banner that we got a number of years ago, and we usually, everybody brings a bag of cheap candy, and we throw it to the varmints.
Right. That's right. The picture of, must be last year's parade is on
Yeah.
the Facebook page, right?
What's up?
Anybody got a kid's wagon?
Yeah.
That would be good if you could bring it along to throw the candy in it before it gets thrown away.
Okay, I'll bring that. I'll bring some kids.
Thank you.
Is it on Memorial Day or is it on the Sunday?
It's on Sunday.
It's on Sunday.
25th?
Yeah, I see it's in the minutes from last meeting.
Okay.
Okay. New business, Scott, I think
I'm
everybody's.
sorry, I have to I don't, the conservation board throwing candy seems wasteful to me.
Well,
Not the
none of it gets
anti-conservation
wasted,
board.
frankly. I mean,
Well, the
there's
wrapper.
kids all around there.
Okay.
I mean, it's wasted
It's a
that
good
the kids
point.
are eating it, I guess.
Yeah, it just seems like anti-conservation to me. But,
Good
Well, if
will.
we give them candy, then they take the handout that we give them.
yeah.
And then they say, oh, that was the conservation board.
I'll join that one. Find candy with recycling.
I never thought of that.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, you're right, but I guess it's traditional, apparently.
What about a package of seeds from like the dollar store?
Love that.
Package of what?
Seeds
Oh.
to plant something.
I mean, I have a bunch of extra wildflower seed, and I can definitely find some way to package it up, and we can toss it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you have.
Even
Maybe
if
we
it's
should-
in the
Maybe we should
packet.
do some combination, because otherwise, I mean, we don't want some of it to end up, because there's a lot of places where there's kids sitting there waiting for the candy. They know the candy's coming, and if they see a package of seeds, they may just leave it there.
Is the conservation board the only one that throws candy?
No, everyone does.
No, everyone does.
Yeah.
The kids love it.
So I don't know. Okay. And then the palm oil. I don't know, guys, but
Before we move on to the next new business, the representative for 130 Homewood Lane is here. Do you mind if we move that up
Sure,
on the agenda?
okay.
So Greg can,
is that for the planning board on Monday?
it is, it is. And then if you press and hold the back of that microphone, IT's telling me that it works. So,
John?
yeah, it should be on. So this is the application that I emailed to everybody. I don't know if everybody was able to open it or not. So the plan that they're presenting is there's an existing group home back on 130 Homewood Lane. I'm gonna cover your stuff here, Jack.
That's okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but they're planning on demoing it and rebuilding it. And it's coming to the planning board for EPOD approvals for steep slope and wood lots.
Right, we're working, I'm Greg McMahon with McMahon LaRue. We're working for the ARC in Monroe County, and they're going to demo the existing home at that site. Even if you haven't been down Homewood Lane, you see it from 590 as you're especially driving north. It's right along the expressway. So they're going to demo that. It's in a woodlot EPOD. However, the area where we're doing all our work doesn't meet any of the woodlot. We're taking down, I think, 7 trees to accomplish the new building, demoing the building, and then there's going to be a new facility. It's actually a little bit smaller. The existing facility has a swimming pool and a deck. All that's going to be removed. There is no swimming pool as part of this. It's going to be, I believe, an 8-bedroom group home with parking for visitors and the staff, and pretty straightforward. Again, we're staying outside the steep slopes. And then we have a landscape plan with,
There's a page that they depicted on,
sheet 4.
is it sheet 4? You guys wanna come and, oh, you printed it.
Yeah, it doesn't show up very well.
Yeah, I apologize, I wasn't involved in too much in this project, but they sent me here because I live here, so. But with some foundation plantings, some new
Oh.
trees and bushes, parking,
Yeah,
just to enhance the building area.
here's the one I wanted, the sheet two, it shows the trees that are being removed and the trees that are being added, I believe.
Trees that are being added are sheet 4.
Oh, okay, so here's the ones that they're being removed, if you guys wanna come and look. So there's a little island right over here that, they're removing, evergreen,
14-inch, 12-inch, two 14s and a 12-inch diameter one. And there's some deciduous trees over here. These are, no, that one's gone.
Three trees around the existing pool deck.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are being added.
Okay.
how many in total, Greg? 8?
7
7.
being removed.
How many are you replanting?
Well, we're,
4.
I mean,
So we got a comment that there was only, what, didn't it say one?
He just said a bush was all.
a lot, looks like a lot of bushes and one, crabapple,
I don't see a legend.
up in the upper right corner of
Oh,
sheet 4.
it's on the next
Upper
one.
left corner, I'm sorry.
We might want to
Sheet
see
5.
more, if you're taking 7 trees out, we might want to see,
See 7,
well,
Here we go.
either,
that's the way we generally work.
okay,
The
Oh,
other
we're-
thing
we're-
that's missing here is we normally get a sheet that has the E-pods overlaid on the erosion plan,
yeah, on the erosion plan.
or one of the
Well, it
plans.
is, on the very first sheet, you'll see,
What about Scott's?
the steep slope,
You gonna bring that up?
steep slope E-pod, the woodlot
There it is.
E-pod covers the entire lot. But that's just the blob on the town's map.
Oh, Homewood.
Okay, I mean, one thing our forestry person asked was to identify the types of trees that are being removed, and then also the types of trees that are being
It's like a dead
put
end.
back in.
Okay,
So specific, species, I guess. Because
Yeah,
I guess that we look at certain trees
So
as
next to
having more
590?
value than others.
yeah. I can
Norton Street,
pass it on to have the
Lane.
Okay.
deciduous, there are
Right
4
here.
deciduous trees that were being removed, let them add the identification for that. And I'll talk to the engineers on this, or the landscaper, and
So
talk
what-
to them about adding some more trees to the landscape plan.
Okay.
We have like, we also have lists of,
Yeah, we've.
recommended ones. You hit it.
The native species
Yeah,
that,
like the landscaping plan for town.
Yeah, we have all that stuff.
right, we'll check and make sure they are native species.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our town, our arborist, if you want to consult him, Scott Davis, he's great with,
Yeah,
The other thing he brought up, and I'm wondering, what your reaction would be to this, is that he's saying that the drainage basin is being built fairly close to the slope, and also the overflow looks like it's going down the slope, so I mean, won't
yeah,
those
indicated
damage?
that it emptied on the steep slope itself.
Well,
I mean, it seems like those would damage
no,
potential to damage the slope anyway.
we
so-
kept the drainage basin far enough away from the slope that we don't have any concern about that. And then
Even
what we,
during the construction of the slope? I mean, even during the construction of the drainage basin?
it's far enough away from that we don't have any issues. And what we did with the discharge from that is we took it to actually where it discharges, if you looked at is a relatively flat area. And with riprap, we're not discharging onto the steep slope.
Which sheet is that on?
That would be on sheet 3 of 7. We don't show, we show the we show where the infiltration chamber is, but if you, we don't show the pipe where it discharges on the grading plan, but it goes off to the, would be the north side.
I think our plans are different because
Oh,
we've
we've
got the
got 3 of
upgraded
8.
ones.
Yeah, we've got 8.
We have 8. Because
Yep.
I believe I had, we had Brian update the one of 7 to indicate more the trees being removed and everything.
Okay.
So I think we're off a sheet.
Right.
You think it's on
So
this
come
one?
over here, honey.
All right,
Site grading, erosion control.
yeah, this is the basin, and then the discharge is going off into this flat area right here.
Is there a
Sheet
spec?
five-
That is
Sheet 5
pretty.
has stuff on it.
That is pretty close to the steep slope though, the basin. I mean, if you have equipment going in here.
Well, the key though is where the discharge is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
this-
is,
this
the
discharge.
slope is gradual over there.
Yeah.
Does it
Is
show
there a
it on
spec on what
I got
happens at
sheet
the
5
discharge
that shows
site?
it better, doesn't it?
You mentioned riprap.
It's going off here with the end section riprap. Stone riprap on the end section.
Well, it's certainly true that there's space to put a few more trees in here.
Yeah, we don't disagree with that. We'll have him, this is the same, yeah. He was kind of short, he just actually has 1 crab apple, but I'll tell him to add some pine or spruce and some, a few, you know, just at least get us up to the same numbers we're taking down.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's room, certainly is room to add them.
So you said pine or spruce.
And some, you know, some native deciduous, some, you know, something that's gonna.
When's your planning board date?
We have a workshop on Monday, and then, the actual meeting would be a week from Monday. But I'm sure we'll hear some of this from the planning board at the workshop on Monday.
Yeah, because they'll probably hear it from us.
Are there any areas on the site that will be like reseeded for grass?
Quite a bit.
Is there any portion of that that could be reseeded with like a diverse mixture of native grasses?
I'm sure there could be, but I can't speak for ARC and their, you know, how the facility's gonna be used and how their maintenance works. I mean, if we're a single-family residential, I'm sure it would be different, but this, I don't wanna speak for ARC.
Do you know offhand how much permeable there is in the new plan relative to the old one?
I do know that we computed the numbers. I don't know them, but I can tell you that it's less. The building is smaller. We're removing the pool and deck. We are adding some additional parking. The current building has a big loop that goes around the front of it. So the net impervious, there's going to be a decrease in impervious area, but we still felt a dry well was appropriate to address the water quality issues coming off the site. Basically, we're looking to take the first flush and infiltrate it, and after that, just let it run off slowly.
Is there any site, any place on the site that would be amenable to a rain garden to lessen the amount going to discharge?
Well, I can mention that.
Yeah, could you ask about that?
I can ask about that.
If you're actually decreasing the permeable area, would be nice to try to mitigate that in some way.
We'll take a look at that. We just finished two buildings for ARC over on Long Pond Road in Greece, and They're side by side, and we put rain gardens in both of those.
Yeah.
But the topography was a little bit different, so we didn't have the option of doing dry wells.
It's not clear to me where you would put it on this site.
And, yeah, and I don't know, it's largely dependent on being able to get runoff to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And right now, the way the site is, the existing grades and the way it's graded, the runoff is headed towards the steep slope area, which is, the natural topography of the area, and whether you could replace, put it on the edge of the steep slope or something like that.
Well, then, was there a reason why the pool was being removed?
I don't think it's appropriate. I mean, back when this facility was built, and again, I don't know the clientele, but under their current program, it's not part of their, what they provide. I'm sure there's some liability issues, but
Sure.
it's just not part of their program.
Are these mostly kids?
I don't believe they're necessarily, they're disabled in some manner or another. Many of them are working in the area. Their medical motor service takes them to jobs and brings them back. But their clientele really runs the gamut. So who the clients are going to be for this facility, I can't answer that. I know, I think ARC, excuse me, representatives of ARC will be attending the planning board meeting, and I think that they'll be able to answer any of those questions at the planning board meetings.
Our normal maneuver is we will write a letter to the planning board.
Sure.
Although we're supposed to have 30 days to do it, that clearly ain't gonna happen.
Well, I did
But
send
you'll be
it,
hearing, they'll read that letter, and you'll be hearing those points brought up.
Well, and I'll pass the points on to our people that are involved with this.
Yeah, and as far as the rain garden, I wonder if, again, since you don't know what the clientele is, it's hard to know, but I mean, maybe that could be an educational opportunity for
Yeah.
clients.
anything else, board? I took some good notes here, and I'll get this emailed out tonight.
Okay. You email it directly to the planning board, or you can?
No, I'll
to
email it
one
to
of
you
us
guys.
So that we can,
So that we can get a letter.
Wednesday. I'll try to do it tomorrow.
If not, I could just share the minutes and highlight them.
Well, why don't we write our letter?
Okay. I'd like to send this to you,
Send
just,
that to me, and I'll write it in our normal mode.
okay.
thanks, Dick.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Nice
Greg.
meeting you.
Yep.
Do you want to borrow this plan?
No, I mean, the points are just what we said. We want more trees.
Well, that's what I have. I have,
And identify them specifically too.
Yeah.
so we can go over them. I said, add native tree species, pine or spruce, and some deciduous species to the landscape plan to accommodate for the trees being removed. Concerns about the drainage basin being built close to the slope. Could the grass area be substituted with native grass? Any place on the site would be amenable to install a rain garden.
Yeah. I think-
Anything else you guys want to add?
Add in that when you're talking about the trees, that they're consistent with our landscape guidelines.
So have,
Yeah, I'll write the line about the discharge to be approved by the town engineer.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah, because
Yeah, they
And
may
if
have
a few
to
feet,
justify.
it looks like the
Yeah.
few feet there could make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to justify it more than just saying, don't worry, it's away from
Yeah.
the slope.
I like your
They-
point about the excavation of it, they could be.
Yeah. Well-
You know, it could well be that it's away from the steep slope, but they gotta get equipment in there. and-
I will take this. Was there a spoils plan in
You
there?
know, they could,
Yep.
I wonder if they could.
I don't know.
steep
Let me
slope
take it home, I'll bring it back tomorrow.
Okay,
level of
Make sure, 'cause
spot
that's my file.
and a rain
Oh.
garden.
wink, wink.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will
Do
be
you want
there.
just, you want just the plan?
And then you
Yeah.
actually get more drainage.
Let me keep the rest.
You might damage the sleep.
So you got more of them?
I do.
All right.
I do. They originally submitted, a month ago. And when we reviewed the plan, March, when I reviewed the plan with the building inspector, they had none of those trees marked that they were removing. They had none of the trees marked along the
Pool.
590. This was all blank. So I had asked them to please depict the wood lots, both of them, and indicate the trees to be removed, trees to be added, and that row of trees that, so if you're driving up, what is it, north on 590? It's
Yeah.
like right along the expressway right there. So I held them up a little bit
Well,
because we needed that additional information.
Well, he talked about 2 workshops, so the first one is that gonna be more conceptual?
well, no, it's the workshop and then the actual
Workshop.
plan.
Workshop
No, he
and-
did, he mentioned 2 different workshops.
I didn't think he did. I thought he just said the workshop and then a week later is the actual planning board meeting.
Right, because of the Memorial Day
understand.
holiday, we're back to back.
I thought
I
that's how he was.
understand that, but I thought he specifically mentioned coming back again for the following
So
one.
who's on
They
for
may.
the planning board?
This month.
Alex,
Because they'll probably ask you for how we justified what we wrote to them.
You got it.
Cool.
I'll be there and Kate Powers from LaBelle will be there.
Yeah.
And if it's
Was
a
our
Mon,
engineer.
yeah, Kate's our engineer. And she's reviewing it as well.
Okay. All right, so in Scott's memo, he had sent some comments about Tree USA, Tree City.
Yep.
So I think everybody got that. And he said the tree planting, that he would be available this Saturday afternoon if anybody wanted to try that.
I can go on this Saturday.
I can go too.
Where, do you know where we're meeting?
No.
And what time?
I'll respond to his note and where and when.
Yeah, because he said if people couldn't make it, he could just take care of it he could take care of it himself during
That'd
the
be
week.
nice
but
if we helped him out.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think I can't make it on Saturday.
This Saturday is what, the 10th?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be in London.
And meet, where would you want to, where?
Well, wherever he's going to
Wherever
do it.
Scott has got the trees.
Yeah, he's gonna be down on the flats, isn't he? Isn't that where-
Scott to
Was that the notion? That's
email
where
the
they're all
board.
going?
Where?
So I said CB is looking to meet up this Saturday, the 10th, and Scott to email the CB where to meet with a time. How does that sound?
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
It goes down in there. That's a flat. I went out.
Don't spend much time up there. I'll find it.
Okay, Arbor Day was fun planting the tree. Nicole and I were there and there were a bunch of pictures taken
Yeah, yeah, I
apparently,
saw that.
so.
Thanks.
And I thought I remembered this, the tree was planted in the exact same place we planted it the last time we had something there, and I asked Scott about it, he said, well, the deer killed the other tree.
Oh, jeepers.
The tree is in the same
Yeah,
spot we
they'll
planted it
rub-
2 years
they'll
ago.
rub on new trees, and you love it.
Yeah. So they put some stuff around it, and I think it's a more resistant type
Oh.
of tree this time.
Apropos that, I guess I should communicate this to Scott, but I was at a party on the weekend, and the son-in-law of the party giver is a forester in Oregon, and they have deer damage problems. There's a product called Trico that they've had excellent success with keeping the deer from eating and rubbing.
Oh, yeah,
I gotta run to the restroom, guys, sorry.
Trico?
So is it a physical thing or a
It's a
chemical
spray.
thing? It's a
But
spray?
I haven't gotten to this yet. He indicated that some places have used it as a perimeter spray and to try to keep the deer away even farther. But applied to the seedlings, he's had excellent success. So that might be something,
When he plants all these trees in
yeah.
flats.
I'll mention it to him.
I've actually used something called, I think it's called Deer Guard, and
Yeah,
all it
there's
is,
all
it's
kinds of
really
these other
odorous.
products,
So
but-
it's a natural thing supposedly, and it's just odorous and it keeps them away. 'Cause
Yeah.
the first year we were in our house, there's hostas and gardens all over the place, and the first year we were there, the deer ate them down to
Yeah.
that.
Does it work for you?
Yes, it does. It works really well.
The deer haven't eaten any of our trillium this year at all.
They gotta get over a fence, though.
Well, that fence doesn't stop them. They've been in there a number of times, but the bear sprays them. And
Yeah.
she's using Bobex right now, which is just another one of those.
I saw a lot of red ones in there. Even from
Yeah,
the
there's
road,
a-
you can see them.
Yeah, this stuff smells really
Just see us.
sulfury when you first spray it on.
Yeah, most of them are thiocarbamates, and they slowly release a stink.
Did you plant those trillium?
Bear did.
Yeah.
Is it this, the flats?
It was,
Are they native ones or are they?
they're native. There was a story going around years ago that by Parenton Square, they were going to build an extension of the shopping mall, and the area was up for grabs for people to take out wildflowers and take them and plant them somewhere else. And so Bear and a bunch of her buddies did that. It turns out it was a total lie. And they just decimated the wildflowers.
That's the state flower.
Anyhow, her excuse is she took only 5 and now she's got 1,000. And so she thinks she's helped the cause.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We got to hear about some of the plantings.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, the next item is the farmer's market updates, and as we talked about when I first came in, it's August 7th is when Monroe County is going to be here. So they come in and they talk about the recycling program in general in the county and the eco park, and they give information out. A lot of people, it's amazing how many people still don't know what's recyclable and what's not. We get a lot of people coming to the
Yeah.
table and asking, so they do a really good job
You
of
hear different
doing
things,
that.
you hear different things from people.
And then
do.
for
Like I
the-
heard that black plastic is not recyclable.
our discussion about the birdhouses, we'll just do that
Because
with
it comes
the,
from
The
a
eco
lot of-
fair.
And I've also heard it's unsafe because a lot of it's from recycled.
When is that? That was June
Have
25th,
you heard anything about that?
26th.
No, I mean, none of
I had
that
it
goes
right.
in your recycling
Do you
bin
want,
anyway.
do you want to keep
What, the
this?
black plastic?
No, you can.
Nothing like that. I mean, there's no.
Thank you, though.
Plastic bags and stuff?
No, but plastic food containers
Oh.
in particular.
Okay, well, most of the single-use food containers can't go in the recycling anyway, like the salad containers and things like that.
yeah, I mean, the amount that you
Throw it
can
away.
recycle is getting slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah.
Jack, when we were talking about the farmer's market last time, we started talking about like rain barrels, and we were gonna try to find if there
I
were any
sent a
barrels.
note to Kimia, but I haven't heard back.
Are you looking for like big blue barrels, whoever saw?
Yeah,
I can get those.
where can you get those?
Work. We
Yeah?
just pay someone to take them.
You pay someone to take them because you're
Yeah.
trying to get rid of them?
How many are you looking for?
Well, one of the projects from the Buckland Creek Stream Restoration Project
Yeah.
was like basically offering rain barrels to anyone in the town who wanted one.
Okay, they got a bunch.
Yeah, so, we could like do that as a farmer's market event or something,
Yeah.
and to see if anyone like wants rain barrels.
You have the barrels, but you don't have the,
Yeah, I forget, how did we
you have to adapt
finance?
the barrel too.
Yeah, I don't have adapted
Well,
barrels.
yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta buy the kits.
I think that would be like that would be like our side of things. We'd have to like, anyone who wants a rain barrel.
So someone has a bunch of barrels that they're willing to donate.
No, that's what I'm asking, is if we can find any, if we want to think about doing that as a project.
The way we did it when Kimmy was still here was we had either assembled the things with all of the plumbing associated with it, including the tap, or we gave them a kit that included all that, but I can't remember how we financed it. There's about $8 worth of parts there till you get the hose bib.
Yeah, circa 2010, which is now.
A while ago. Yeah, that was a while
$30.
ago. I think they were all donated from Home Depot.
Do you think Kimmy got them from free?
Yeah,
Probably.
Kimmy's got that way.
I wrote to her, but I haven't heard back yet.
Gotta call, she'll answer the phone, she answers the phone.
But I think that the rain barrel thing, that was cool when we did it before, and
Yeah.
it's been long enough that you got a whole new crowd looking for them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see how many I can grab. I just don't.
And almost a whole new board. 'cause
yeah, I don't think it's like,
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
They were blue 55-gallon
Yeah.
drums,
Oh, yeah.
right?
They aren't 55, they're
They're not.
smaller, but they're blue
Okay.
plastic.
Green would be better.
Blue.
I mean,
You could paint them.
them.
People have
Yeah,
painted them.
decorate them.
Where do you get them?
We use it for work for a food product. So we use them and then we're done with them.
How many you think you could get?
I mean, there's 24 right now sitting outside. You know, I just got checked to make sure, you know what I mean, if I'm taking that much.
Yeah.
I think we pay someone to take them. You know what I mean?
Oh, pays for the, maybe they'll donate the parts, the amount of money for the parts.
Well,
All the parts, they gotta donate the parts, because we can't handle the
Well, they
money.
can at least donate as much as it would cost them to get rid of it. We're saying,
Right.
Yeah, that's how,
Yeah, I'll check to see how many I can take or if
Okay.
I can take them. Like I
Great.
definitely can take like 2 3s, you know.
yeah, that would be great.
Yep. Yeah, I'll check on that and I'll let you know how much.
Thought I had the recollection that Kimmy got them from Genesee Brewing, but
It's probably similar.
Yeah.
It's a cleaning.
I think
it's the
you're right,
cleaning
Jack.
supplies. We get the same stuff.
God, you got a good memory.
That's where they said they got them for the
for
The-
Pleasanton, okay.
Brighton project.
Yeah.
Was
Oh, okay.
it Genesee Brewery?
They're probably the same exact barrels.
Yeah.
It's just cleaning for pipes and lines for food.
Gotcha.
Leave
we
it
should
here.
consider whether we want to give them assembled or give them the pieces.
Yeah,
There was an issue about how you get the tap into there. You had to be pretty careful about the hole you drilled so that it sealed correctly. It's been a long time, I can't remember exactly. But Kimmy will remember.
Yeah.
great.
So let's discuss that next time with more data.
okay. So you're gonna talk to Kim then? You're gonna talk to her?
Yeah, I wrote her. and
Oh, okay.
I normally expect to hear from her. Because usually she's right, Johnny on the spot.
Is that Kimmy Romeo? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because she was here before I came. So-
Yeah, and she.
Is she on the town board?
She went to the town board from
Okay.
there, yeah.
Yeah, she went to planning board and then the town
Planning
board.
board, then the town board.
What a woman.
We've lost a lot.
Those darn boards.
I mean, she was,
Dave Long. And what was the other guy's?
Dan,
Dan Yanish.
Dan Yanis.
He's on the
and,
planning board
Mike
now.
Evelyn.
Mike
yeah,
Evelyn.
Mike was good
Is he
too.
still in town government?
Nope, he's got a couple babies, so littles.
So,
okay, so we'll talk about that more next time, hopefully after you hear about it from Kim. Social media updates.
We have 978 Facebook follows, which is 2 more than last week. I think Facebook updated, so it's not showing the likes right now, so I'll figure that out. I don't know. I'm not that savvy. And then Instagram, we have 13 follows, so the same, but I'll post this and been posting a bit more because some more things have been going on, but yeah. I saw a couple of your emails of birds.
I just sent them to you. That's a piebald, you know what piebald is? It's a genetic leucistic, it falls under leucistic, not albino. They're like that deer I've shown pictures of where they're brown and white, the deer are. It's, leucistic animals can be pure white or they can be, usually they have some white mixed in with their natural color. So this robin is like, he's spotted and he's got a little white collar and a white tail. Pretty cool. He's been in the same spot for almost 3 weeks now, right at the corner of the cemetery. I see him a lot. Or her. I think it's a her. I call her Lucy for leucistic. Don't post the location.
Yeah,
But
like
if you
the
drive by-
Eagles.
Oh,
That's cool.
But it's uncanny how often I see it. And if I don't see it, I'll drive down one of the cemetery roads and I loop back and she's there. It's like,
We looked this afternoon and didn't spot her.
yeah, I saw her this morning.
Wait, what cemetery?
It's the cemetery on Culver and Hoffman. So if you went along the cemetery, I can tell you guys. If you go along the cemetery,
Irondequoit Cemetery.
yeah.
Don't
Right.
forget you're on television.
Oh, yeah, oh. Well, that's true. I forget that. Well,
I gotcha.
number 93. Mailbox number 90.
Okay.
You won't see it if you don't go to that exact.
Okay, well,
Yeah, that's, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
well,
Keeper.
Or bird will
speaking
get died
speaking of
stage
deer,
fright.
deer management program board, supposedly I was appointed to that when I got this job and I've never been called for a meeting, so,
Yeah.
so there's still nothing to report.
That's a good
Nothing.
thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
a good
no, I'm
thing,
not
yeah.
complaining, I just wondered what
Not-
it was and I
might
still
pick
don't
up
know.
near, you know, the fall when the bow season starts again, you know.
Yeah. Okay, EMC report?
The talk last month was about soil quality, and there is a website I'll have to share with you guys where you can put in any address and it'll tell you what the soil type is there, as it turns out. So I will share that. Also, there is a EMC like picnic potluck this month on the 21st, and I'm allowed to bring someone if anyone from the board wants to come mingle with EMC people, so let me know.
Where's the picnic at?
It's up at the beach, I think, like Charlotte. They keep saying somewhere near Abbott's, so I feel like that's where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of food?
I think,
Whatever you bring.
yeah, it is a potluck, so people are bringing stuff. I haven't signed up to bring anything yet. But I'll bring something good. And then they said they were gonna grill stuff, so.
Noted.
Potluck, you know.
Hey, the Recycling Advisory Committee, they had someone come in and talk about where all the solid waste in the state and much of New England goes. And so they had a whole presentation on how many landfills there are, and I guess they consider New York part of New England, apparently, in terms of this. And so they talked about how many active landfills there are. I guess right now there's 35 active solid waste landfills in New York State. And in Region 8, which is an 11-county region for the DEC, like 90% of the waste that's generated in this area stays in this area, which I guess makes sense because we have Seneca Meadows and Monroe County landfill and Ontario County landfill, which are all pretty large landfills. And they said most of the rest goes to Region 9, where there's also, in the Buffalo area, where there's also quite a few large landfills. So if anybody's interested in seeing this presentation in more detail, I can forward
Yeah, why don't you put
parts
that
of
up?
that on. Okay.
Does New York State have its own hazardous materials waste place?
A landfill? Because there, I mean, there's a number of facilities that generate waste, and then they have to have permits to handle it and things like that.
Yeah,
The
because
only
like,
hazardous waste landfill in the Northeast, I believe, is the Chemical Waste Management Facility in Niagara County.
because a lot of demo generates asbestos and,
Yeah, well, asbestos is not considered hazardous waste.
Oh, is that
in terms
right?
of that. I mean, it's got a whole special regulatory regime.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, so when they talk about hazardous waste, they're talking more about chemical waste, basically.
Yeah,
Stuff
well,
that could leach into the water supply and
Right.
things like that.
there was that tentative application for a hotel or old people's home along the Genesee River a number of years ago, and that's a brownfield. And they were gonna remove material. Just wondered where that went.
Well, if it turned, they'd have to sample everything they removed, I'm sure, and if it turned out to meet the definitions of hazardous waste, then it would probably have to go to
Yeah.
chemical waste management. But I mean, if it's lower levels of material that may be hazardous, that doesn't quite meet the definition of hazardous waste, then it could go to a solid waste landfill.
Yeah, their mitigation, as I recall, was to cover it up with more stuff.
Well, there's different requirements for brownfields, since they're
Yeah.
a voluntary type of operation, so since they're not the people who put it there.
Phases they have to meet.
Don't necessarily have to clean it all up, they just have to prevent it from leaving the site, basically. And they can't make it worse, they have
Yeah.
to make it better. Okay, so I'll forward some of that material on from the Recycling Advisory Committee on the solid waste disposal.
Just like that project down at the river where the trees got cut that never happened.
Lighthouse
They were
Point.
the proposal there was to cover it with concrete, they weren't gonna dig a basement, I don't think, in that building. or something.
Yeah.
They were just gonna have a thick layer over the top of concrete. And kind of encapsulating rather.
Okay, and there's a Recycling Advisory Committee meeting tomorrow, which I'm not gonna make because it's my wife's birthday tomorrow.
Another good
And
excuse.
they're doing a tour of the Goodwill facility. So I mean, that's the presentation is Goodwill, so I'm sure I'll get the report on that and report back. It's on Jefferson Road, I guess there's a Goodwill facility. Okay, and we talked, the liaison report,
I was
Scott again sent
Yeah, oh, okay, go ahead.
sent his report, or I guess that consists of the liaison report, I guess. And we talked about the Homewood Lane, and Jack is gonna write the letter for the board.
I was the representative to go to the planning board.
Oh,
It was
okay.
all about, I think I sent an email about that too. You guys did that? I went to it, it was all about the 9 sites that Verizon wants to build these little substations to help mitigate problems they've had with dropping calls, I guess, and stuff like that. And then there was a lot of discussion about could they, use existing poles, and what about the locations of them? Did they have to put them in the backyards and all that kind of stuff? None of it really directly affected us, but I did use the opportunity to schmooze a little bit with the planning board members and let them know that we appreciate the relationship that we've had with them, especially in the last few years, it's gotten a lot better. It was when Jack and I were back years ago, it was hard, it was a lot more difficult for
That's
us.
because we packed it with former conservation board members.
Yeah, right, yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, we do have, their ear, I think, and I let them know if there's anything they need from us, beyond what, we do.
They tabled that, didn't they, or deferred it?
Adjourned.
So,
Adjourned
yeah.
for more information. The board asked for quite a bit of information.
Yeah. So
Yep.
they got all, that's still, so they had the then they had, I didn't go to the regular meeting,
I didn't either.
so.
I was not feeling well.
So, that just got kicked down the road a bit.
It got adjourned till they submit.
They didn't do any, there was no, weren't there people there that were from
I
the public?
went to it.
Oh.
You were
There were a lot of people from the public.
The room was
At
filled.
least 20, 30 people spoke maybe,
Oh.
opposing it.
Is that right?
They were
Well,
opposing it?
Yes.
What was the big objection? Just the existence?
They're worried about the health and safety of them, the possible radiation from the antennas because they're at the same level as like their bedroom windows
Oh.
and just the aesthetic impacts of them.
Huh.
I thought they were gonna put them, at the meeting, they were talking about putting them up higher. Well, there was a box, and then something up above, so that probably was, that was, on the pole, it was something lower.
Oh.
I didn't get into the technical part of it,
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, a lot of it was too, they wanted to put them, they didn't want to put them all in the right of way with the other stuff. And those small ones, they have it's real critical, according to them, that they locate it really close to the center of the area they're trying to cover. And and they have to be located within about 150 feet of the center of the area, because they're relatively low power. So I think that caused a lot of, I could, although the public wasn't there, I could see that was the planning board members were concerned about the effects.
Is radiation a real thing from these? Or is that just,
I mean, Verizon has to follow FCC guidelines. So technically, we're under the limit of the FCC, what the FCC guidelines are, because
Yeah.
they regulate us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm learning a lot.
I
A
think
lot.
are these the first new small cell poles in Arundecoit?
No, back in 2018, there were 11 of them.
Were they co-locating on existing?
No, new
existing-
poles.
Oh, they were new
New poles is the trigger
Okay.
Yeah.
for site plan approval. New,
Yeah.
because they're putting in a new pole.
But it makes sense for them to piggyback off of other providers because they can pay a fee rather than the whole cost of construction. So I
So it's Crown Castle who is actually building the poles, placing the poles, and then other carriers will co-locate on the pole.
yeah. There are a lot of dead spots then. I assume it's because of the topography.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Is that why?
I mean, I'm not an engineer, but I'm just a project manager, but
I heard it's like data. Something with the
It's,
data, 5G data
Yep.
is what I'm learning. It's not actually a phone call.
Well, they
Right?
do drop calls in Arundecoit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well,
mean, it's not, the
Oh,
coverage
really?
isn't the best.
Yeah, it drops at my neighborhood. My neighborhood's where they want to put the poles.
I think Verizon just does that sometimes to get you to buy a new phone too. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I think we're
inappropriate?
getting a little off topic here.
Sorry.
It's
And
environmental.
so unless there's actually more business we need to take care of, I guess I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.
I'll get this back to you.